Hi everyone. I'm doing my informative speech with my family. This is my sisters and my mom.
Hi.
Okay, today my topic is about Chinese food. No one can ignore the happiness and the satisfaction that food gives us. The one no one can deny the importance of food. Food is not only make us full, but food is also the best way to know how is the country's culture looks like. My characteristic of Chinese culture food are reflect in the food culture. China is a country that pays more attention to their eating and the food. In China, different area has their own signature of food. Our spiritual life is also has close relationship with food. For the Chinese people, the most important thing is to eat. Everything comes after eat. You can make friends while you're eating, talking business while you're eating. So if your food are bad, what is the ability to perform other activities? In this speech, I want to talk about the history, spirit, development, and the types of the Chinese food. First, let's talk about the history. The Chinese food culture has almost 8,000 years history. The food culture plays a very important role in the origin and the development of Chinese culture. Because many aspects of their spirit of Chinese culture has lots of connections with the food cultures, from the way of governors, the countries, to the interpersonal relationship. Chinese people are very good at finding feels and the goodness and the meaning of life. Represent the Chinese food culture. It has a long history of 1,000 years. It has a distinct and the unique nature of the characteristic matters of fact. Matter of fact, Chinese food is still very important in the world. Second, let's talk about the development of Chinese food culture. The Chinese food is renowned in the world. The period of the primitive society is the initial stage of Chinese food culture. At that time, people have learned to grow crops such as rice, millet, and raise pigs, chicken, dogs, sheep, and make other livestock. So it has formed the Chinese food structures foundation that primarily with agriculture's products and then the complement with meat. The pre-Qing period is the real formation period of Chinese food culture. After nearly 2,000 years of the development, the characteristic of the traditional Chinese food cultures has basically formed. During the Tang Dynasty, people's activities become more and more often, which led the steady development of Chinese food culture. Our ancestors expanded their eat activities around their own lives and the products area. So food cultures are become an important driving focus of human process. Okay, next let's talk about the spiritual of Chinese food culture. The spirit of Chinese culture is pursuit of peace, healthy, and respect. Chinese food culture has many tangible features. The so-called ancient relationship between heaven and human not only reflect in the sacrifice, but also reflect in Chinese food culinary with nature. Also, Chinese have many rules or manners when it comes to eating. For example, when you can eat before your elders, which is your parents or your grandpas, eat, and you cannot leave the table before they does. This is the way to show your respect. The final, let's talk about the 8 types of Chinese cuisine. The first one, different area has their own types of food, and we analyze them into 8 groups. The first group is the Shandong cuisine. Here, Shandong cuisine is characteristic by a famous fragrance, fresh grain, very clean soup, and then very clean soup and the cream soup modulation. Second, let's talk about Sichuan cuisine. Because of the humidity of the Sichuan area, Sichuan is famous for their spice and the savories. So this is actually the famous dish. It's called the spicy fish. It's the best spicy cuisine in the 8 types of Chinese cuisine. Next, let's talk about Jiangsu cuisine. Because of the damp, this is Jiangsu. Because of the damp culture, the cuisine in Jiangsu need to add sugars in their food to remove the moisture. Therefore, Jiangsu cuisine is mainly with sweet. So their signature dish will be sweet sour chicken, pork, and then the fish. And then next, let's talk about the Cantonese cuisine. Cantonese cuisine is very delicious and light. Cantonese are cook almost all types of food, all kind of resource they can use as a food. Dim sum is one of the Cantonese cuisine, and then this Cantonese cuisine also famous for eating weird things like snakes, meat, and mice. Next is the Fujian cuisine. The Fujian is surrounded with ocean, and their cuisine is almost most of them are related to the seafood. Also, Fujian cuisine is very traditional cuisine. This is the best soup in all types of Chinese cuisine. In soups, their soup is very delicious and tasty, and they aim to have to be sweet, kind of like sweet and sour taste. Okay, the next is the Zhejiang cuisine. Zhejiang is in East coast of China. The Zhejiang cuisine is almost full of all kind of fish and seafood. Also, their famous dish over here is called the Dongpo pork. Next, let's talk about Anhui. Anhui cuisine is Anhui people all likes to drink teas, and their cuisine is based on all related to their Yellow Mountain. The fungi, herbs, and the mixed veggies is what they're best known of, and also their seafood. The last is the Hunan cuisine. Hunan cuisine has the long history of local specialties. Every season it has different tastes to match up the climate. Hunan, this is the Hunan curd ham with the pickled yard-long beef, which is the famous signature dish they're known for. So in all the Chinese cultures, the Chinese culture would not be complete without the food. In China, food is not only a thing that make everybody full, but it also shows the histories and the spirit of Chinese culture. So next time, if you have the chance to visit China in the future, be sure to taste the Chinese food. This is conclude my speech. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.